Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get you on the phones for Sam Morrell, super funny comedian, Chicago Theater. That show coming up in Clash with Kenzie, Beater, and Trivia. And you get the tickets. A couple other reminders, an hour away from Q101 Fest, Boston Calling Music Festival, a VIP trip, and Riot Fest tickets. And at 10 o'clock today, we announced Picnic. So how about that? Stay here. But first, let's get the sports.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, the Cubs lost 4-3 to the Pirates, but that's not the story overnight. A fan fell from the outfield wall during the Pirates-Cubs game at PNC Park and was taken off on a stretcher. Kenzie was the first one on this, sending me in case she got, got in the text thread, which was really nice. Sent us on that text thread. Hey, did you guys see this? And it was horrific. A fan fell. I mean, that is about, I guess, 21-foot fall.
It's a 21-foot wall in right field because it's where the Pirates play, and it's the Roberto Clemente wall, and he was number 21, so it's a 21-foot wall.
Good fun fact there for a terrible situation.
Yeah, sadly, I wish I didn't have a fun fact for this.
I know. The fan remained motionless. So it was the middle of the play right after Andrew McCutcheon's two-run double, which put the Pirates up 4-3, and that's how the game finished. The players all, after kind of seeing what happened, were visibly upset and got on one knee while they waited about 10 minutes. And then they did continue the game to finish up, as I said, the score being 4-3. Here's the audio from Pittsburgh's general manager on the incident.
Thank both our medical staff, the Cubs medical staff, EMS, everybody that got to the gentleman. Even though it's 350 feet of wire, whatever it is, I mean, the fact of how it went down and laying motionless, while the play's going on. I mean, Craig saw it, I saw it, we both got out there. I think the umpire saw it. Unfortunately, because of the way the ball kicked, it's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
They're saying he's in critical condition at the hospital, but when you look at the video, you're like, how did he survive that? I'm sure there'll be more updates as the day goes on. Me personally, I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often. It's obviously happened.
Really?
I really am. It's obviously people have died at stadiums in some massive falls every few years, maybe even multiple years waiting for that. But I don't know. When I sit at a game or a football game or whatever, I just kind of feel like all these people together, there is alcohol involved. And I don't know what was going on in this situation, but I don't know. I feel like it should happen more often, not in a good way, obviously, but I feel like it could happen more often.
I just really want to know exactly what happened. Like, I don't know if he tripped, if he was drunk, or like, it looked like they were all kind of partying hard in that section, like really excited. I don't know if like just too many people were pushing and he fell. I'm very curious what happened, and I feel horrible for him.
It's a horrific video, and as far as I know, we haven't posted it. We will not post it. At least we won't, Brian and Kenzie. But you'll be.
But
able to,
like Case will.
Case is going to post that.
No, I'm not going to. It's a pretty rough watch.
sad.
You can seek it out if you'd like to.
Well, yeah, it's polluting your timeline pretty much if you follow any kind of Cubs-involved pages or fan page stuff. And just MLB stuff in general. Now, the Cubs have one more in Pittsburgh this afternoon before they come back to Wrigley tomorrow for a series against the evil Brewers, who took out the White Sox yesterday, unfortunately. So the White Sox lose to the Brewers. And even with the Brewers losing or winning and the Cubs losing, the Cubs are still 2 games up and in first place. And it's May 1st. Let's take stock for a second.
Okay, let's take stock.
The White Sox are now 7-23.
Ouch, I wish we wouldn't have taken stock.
Immediately regret this decision.
That's the consequences of my own actions.
Well, you can sell that stock if you want. So and I thought about that. May 1st with a single-digit win total. Now it's hitting that, okay, they're, to Kenzie's point, where the coaches were supposed to say, same guys, just play better. We'll do better than being the worst team in Major League Baseball history last year with a 41-121 total.
Which could totally still happen.
The thing, meaning beating that record, or
Yeah. Well, like, no, I mean, like, they could be better than they were last year, and that's fine.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not good at math. But I took 7-23. Clearly, we know that I'm not good at math.
Right.
There's 162 games in baseball. So that's 30 games of 7-23 that have been played. I divided 162 by 30. It came out to about 5.4. So then I multiply 5.4 by 7, and you get 37.8 wins. So I don't know if my math, if that works.
Wait, where did the 7 come from?
Yeah.
Seven wins. So 23, I divided it by, okay. Hold on.
Everybody sit tight.
Okay. There's 7-23, so 30 games have been played.
Okay.
There's 162 games in a season.
I follow.
I divided 162 by 30. It came up to about 5.4.
To be like, you've done 5.4 games out of the season, like percentage.
So the season's like about a fifth done, a little more than a fifth done, right? So then I multiplied 7 times that 5.4, meaning that's, and then that comes up to 37.8 wins. Is that right?
I don't know why we might multiply it by 7. What does that do? I'm not good at math either.
Because
so I'm
because 7's the win total. So I'm trying to get
Right,
a win number of if a fifth in the season, so times 5. And then
But what's that number mean?
the 5.4 means that's about how far of the season is of 30
Times
games.
by 7.
Yeah. So there should
What is the number? 5.4 times 7 that you did.
Is like 37.8.
Right. What does that number mean? 37.8 what?
That should be
Percent?
that should be the win total then.
Okay.
For the end of the year, for the final games.
You're saying if they keep up. Okay.
Is that right? Did you figure that out? If anybody else thinks I'm close in that, Delilah says math makes sense.
Cool. Thank you, Delilah.
And other people are checking in that I'm kind of right.
Matt is picking up what you're laying down. Your math is mathing according to him.
I'm not saying it's exact right, but it's still showing that they'll have less wins than 41 to break the record.
So you're saying on the current trajectory, that's what the 5.4 times 7 was. That, they would end the season with that percentage of wins or that many wins?
That many wins should be the answer there if they stay at this pace of 7 and 23.
Okay. I didn't even know what you were trying to figure out, which makes it harder.
So 708 said his math is correct. His explanation is garbage.
Okay.
That tracks.
So your work.
Oh, my God, stop. Math teacher crying here. Well, 515, check in. That's a first-time texter, by the way. Thanks for checking in. If anybody can figure it out better than I just did, then do it.
Somebody said multiply their winning percentage by 162.
Well, how are you supposed to get their winning percentage?
You got to divide 7 into 23, or 23 by 7, I think.
Well, which one is it? Because those are two drastically different answers.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I hate when people do that. You just got to take another number you don't have and hang it by the other number you don't have. Well, that's not going to help me, is it, Janet?
Well, 23 divided by 7 is 3.2. So do I multiply then 7 wins by that? They're going to get 21 wins.
You think they're... No. Oh, my God.
Wait.
No one's moving forward.
630 checked in. Please never do math verbally on the air again. My brain hurts listening. Brian's math works fine, but explaining it to Kenzie is an ouch.
My head hurts.
I like that Kenzie takes a shot at that one, too.
Case isn't understanding either.
Yeah, but you're lumped in.
It's not
You were
fair.
asking-
It seems like it's only me.
People are saying I'm right.
Okay.
You may be, but you didn't even tell us what you were trying to find.
I was doing a good job. I
So
think I
was
explained
like,
it properly.
fine, but what is that number? Like, you didn't tell me what the last number was.
You were just so anxious to ask multiple questions. You should have just waited and let it process for a second.
You just sat there after you gave the final number, and I go, well, what does that mean? I felt like Ben Bradley. What is that?
Let's see. I think it was fine. I think most people are saying my math is right, and basically I'm saying that they will then break their own record if they stay on this pace of being the worst team in Major League Baseball history, again, with only 37.8 wins, according to my math.
So what do we do now?
Well, we just wallow in that crap. I guess.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're about 6 minutes away from Fest, Q101's Fest, where we'll get you to Boston Calling Music Festival and also a chance to go to Riot Fest. But it's a story no one's talking about, and NBC Chicago is early on this one. We are, of course, the show that got you the Tiffany Henyard conversation going years ago through Ben Bradley on WGN TV. He was the first to report it, and then we took it on the radio side. And that's what we're doing this one, I think. $400 million. $400 million wasted of tax money. And this comes from NBC. And let's get a little bit of the story to lay it out here. Kenzie, this involves a place where I believe you used to live, Block 37 downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shopping area now.
Yes.
But what's going on under it? Let's go to the story from NBC Chicago to talk about this waste of taxpayer money that's epic.
Far below the atrium offices in shopping mall, below the pedway underneath, beneath even the subways below.
A sleek new superstation designed to whisk people on high-speed trains to Chicago's airports. But this is what it looks like today. A gigantic, unfinished, abandoned money pit.
God, that sounds unbelievable.
All of those words sound bad together.
Yeah. And I don't know if he's going to say it in the story, but it's the size of a football field underneath Block 37.
Shut up.
I will not shut
I
up.
can't believe that. Because at Block 37, it's already a red line and blue line stop. So you're already... I can't believe there's something even more underground. That's insane.
Yeah, there's already stops there, but not what they're about to describe, what it was supposed to be.
Feel like you're in a cave that has been abandoned for eons.
David Greising is president of the Better Government Association. As a journalist, he toured the structure, dubbed through the years as the Bat Cave, the Money Pit, or as NBC5 Investigates has described it, the superstation to nowhere.
They hate to see Ben Bradley coming. They're like, oh, God.
Yeah, the superstation to nowhere. By the way, that band playing Riot Fest, they haven't announced yet.
Very good.
The story continues.
The idea was sparked 20 years ago when the city approved construction of this building on a prime loop lot, which had remained vacant for decades.
We, as journalists, get summoned to a press conference in the mega station that is in mothballs.
Where they found
a mega station in mothballs.
Not good.
Not a good look. Continues.
Mothballs?
Where they found two familiar faces.
We're super excited to do what I think is going to be groundbreaking technology.
Then Mayor Rahm Emanuel was determined to revive this literal hole in the ground, and Elon Musk responded. Musk had created the Boring Company, which uses...
Funny name. It sounds like it lived up to it in creating this hole in the ground.
How did Elon Musk get in this?
So back then, of course, he was just a guy. Now you hear different things about him. But back then, of course, he was just the SpaceX guy. He was the Tesla guy. And he made his money through PayPal.
He was the underground hole fixer? Like, how did he get involved?
That's him now.
Yeah. It feels like it was a lot more recent, but he was talking about these super trains around the country to fix our transportation problem.
Yeah.
Elon Musk was. We're talking about now 7, 8, 9 years ago at this point.
Do you want me to do my whole train thing about how Europeans have these really high-tech, high-speed trains and America doesn't?
I think you just did.
Okay.
You don't need to.
Because I've been described as uppity when I've described that before.
Their train system, their public transportation doesn't smell bad, which is unbelievable. I was comfortable sitting on a cloth seat on the train. They're so confident. They are so confident who lives like in London and Europe that they made the public transportation seats cloth. Imagine that. We would never in America.
No, Case, was that your rant, the same rant?
So mine was a little more uppity than that.
Already your tone is uppity.
The tone was, I think, what people took umbrage with when I talked about the European transportation system.
I'm not taking sides here, but Kenzie sounded more real, and you sound uppity.
Also, before you continue the story, 630 checked into the text line. We need a new rendering of this money pit. Chicago loves renderings.
Way to bring that up.
Could we turn it into like a music venue? Could we just do something with it?
Well, it's the size of a football field, and we certainly could use one more venue that could hold 70,000 people underground for a concert. Let's continue with the rest of the NBC story on this $400 million money pit in Chicago.
Which uses this machine to drill underground literal hole.
I'm going to back it up a little bit, the hole in the ground.
Big groundbreaking technology.
Then Mayor Rahm Emanuel was determined to revive this literal hole in the ground, and Elon Musk responded. Musk had created the Boring Company, which uses this machine to drill underground to construct mega infrastructure projects in a matter of weeks instead of years.
He's holding up a hammer. That's all they used. It's just a hammer.
There's the potential here for a revolutionary transport system.
It certainly looked revolutionary. From the renovated superstation, people board glass pods that are lowered onto sleds that slide through the underground tubes at 150 miles per hour, reaching the airport
Kick-ass rendering, I bet, on that one. Had to be.
In just about 12 minutes.
Getting from the city.
Wait, I'm sorry. The time again on that, what they were projecting it would be.
Sleds that slide through the underground tubes at 150 miles per hour, reaching the airport in just about 12 minutes.
12 minutes to O'Hare, going 150 miles an hour underground.
That's awesome. They need to build that.
How about it, Kenzie?
What are we doing? Finish the hole. That's fantastic.
Just FYI, we're $400 million in. And there's
so finish it. You've now, at least let us have the 12-minute train. You spent all this money.
Wait, okay. It's a hole right now for $400 million. To finish the $150 million tubes or 150 mile per hour tubes that will go to O'Hare, it must cost $8 trillion more.
What else? Brian, they're not fixing the roads. They're pocketing all the money. They might as well give us a trade. What's the difference?
I've already proven to be a math expert here on the show this morning.
Oh, brother.
I got to think, there's no way the money can come up to finish these tubes.
Finish the tubes.
I understand. If someone can do it for about $6,000, I'm in.
But you're taking the over on $8 trillion?
$8 trillion. $400 million just built the hole under Block 37 in downtown Chicago of taxpayer
that's half
money.
The problem. It's hard to build a hole that's not already there.
I could have dug that hole out for way cheaper.
No, you couldn't.
Listen, I got dad arms
You
here.
can't even order balloons for me on time.
Well, that's a fact.
Shush.
Different project.
Yeah.
Takes different skills.
Okay.
Digging doesn't take much thought. I could just dig a hole. Let's continue.
You're tired, you'd be.
I'd be pretty tired, but I get it done cheaper. This is the end of the story from NBC about this $400 million hole in the ground. And we're going to get in a second. I know we're at 8:01 here. We will get to the Q101 Fest for the chance to get Riot Fest and Boston Calling music trip.
12 minutes.
Getting from the
again, I got to hear that again.
Superstation, people board glass pods that are lowered onto sleds that slide through the underground tubes at 150 miles per hour, reaching the airport in just about 12 minutes.
By the way, was this a 4-year-old's idea? We're going to have these tubes, man. Dad, what if we had this tube that went to the airport? I went 150 miles an hour. And if we do that, wouldn't that be badass, Dad? Wouldn't that be cool? That'd be sweet.
I am so mad we don't have these tubes.
I know.
Kenzie, wait until you find out why we don't have them.
Okay, go ahead.
Calm down. Last 20 seconds of the story, and this is why we don't have those tubes running right now.
Getting from the city to O'Hare is a race against time, and we're going to give commuters a leg up in that race.
Musk promised he'd build it all in 3 to 4 years. He also vowed he wouldn't spend a single cent of public money. As it turned out, Mayor Emanuel's successors had no interest in the project, and Musk himself quickly moved on to other things, like buying Twitter and advising President Trump. While here in Chicago, the padlocks and mothballs are back in place, with no future in sight.
So Rahm Emanuel, this was his baby. He gets voted out of office, or does I think he decided not to run again. I can't remember on Rahm Emanuel.
That feels like it was 7,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 8.
I don't even know who that is.
Rahm Emanuel?
No.
He was the mayor for a couple times.
I don't remember that at
you
all.
lived here, I think.
What year was that?
We're talking 2018, Kenzie. It's not that long ago.
I don't remember him.
I know.
He was like a big guy, like a big deal.
The point is,
remember
it was his baby. Started the project with Elon Musk. They dig the hole. New mayor comes in and goes, forget about that $400 million hole. Why build
which would have been Lightfoot.
Right. That's Lori Lightfoot coming
That
in.
bitch. I am so livid with her.
Well, you certainly remember her. You
Yes.
just don't remember Rahm.
How dare she stop my tunnel?
Can you imagine if that existed today? I understand we got to do the Q101 Fest. I know we're there, but no one else is talking about this.
We can get to O'Hare and back and do Fest in time. This is BS.
You win the trip to Fest. You're at O'Hare in 12 minutes going, and how cool would it be to go 150 miles an hour in a tube? God.
I'm just so pissed off.
Me too. It's ridiculous, and that's why I brought it to the show today, to let you people know and understand where we're at, and no one else is talking about this.
I'm DMing Lori Lightfoot right now.
I do want to thank NBC5 Chicago for bringing the story to my attention, and I want to give them more light on that. NBC5, thank you so much, because finish the hole. But the over-under's, it's over-under's $8 trillion on DraftKings. I just put that up there as a bet of this thing getting done.
Somebody call Elon. What is he doing? He's not with his kids.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Bean, text that to 312-591-8300 for your chance at a Boston Calling Music Festival trip and Riot Fest tickets. Bean, you have till 9 o'clock to do it, so if you're in heavy traffic, just hold on, just wait a minute and wait till you're stopped and go ahead and take care of it. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Also, James in Palatine checked in and said, I just want that tube train to go to Palatine to downtown. I don't want to go to O'Hare with it, just get those tubes going. And he said he also would have helped me dig that out for under $400 million. That's good Palatine folk there. That's good people there. Now, tomorrow at this time, 8 o'clock, Case's movie review and Cinco de Mayo related. We did this a week ago. Kenzie was actually in Mexico on her vacation for her birthday. We discussed what movie he should do for Cinco de Mayo. What Mexican movie should he do? and a lot of discussion happened. We asked the Mexican contingent listeners of the show to chime in, and they said blood in, blood out.
Oh.
And if you haven't seen that movie, it's a phenomenal movie. Not many people have seen it because, quote, when I look at the Wikipedia page, they couldn't sell the theme to white audiences.
That checks out.
And that's not Brian saying that. That's Wikipedia saying that.
But out of context, someone's going to take that and put it somewhere.
In fairness, he could have wrote it into Wikipedia.
I did add that in there.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt is in that movie. It's a phenomenal movie, Blood In and Blood Out. But
well, he better. I don't know what movie he's doing, but I know what he better be doing, because how dare you if he's not?
Well, see, I said this was going to happen when you came back because you weren't here to defend Selena, I'm sure you're going to say.
Yeah, of course.
Anything for Selena.
He
Salinas.
has to watch Selena.
It's my favorite line from that movie.
And that's kind of like something I talk about all the time. She's really important to me, so it just makes sense because I bring it up all the time.
Clearly, you're branded with Selena.
Yeah.
Case, what movie are you doing?
La Bamba!
Why would you do that?
Why would you explain yourself, Case? Why are you doing La Bamba?
Because he doesn't care about me, number one.
Well, it's not that I don't care, but you didn't factor into my decision making, which I guess might be not caring. But it wasn't.
How else do you care?
It wasn't done in spite. It was done by not thinking of you,
Yes.
which is actually better than doing it because I was thinking of you and then choosing a different movie. When you think about it,
But Brian said he brought up the fact that I would want Selena.
this is possibly true. But we are doing.
No. It's 100% true. Not possibly
Why
true.
would you guys, in fairness, in this arena, can't I pick?
You were in Mexico.
Right, but you could have asked me. I can pick right now. He reviews it tomorrow.
Yeah, but you were in Mexico when we had this conversation. It's cell service, towers were spotty. It was tough. So we're doing
I get
La
no
Bamba.
respect.
Now
Nobody
listen,
respects me.
I love La Bamba, and when you look at all the box office, it was the biggest of even Selena. Selena did much better later, of course, with streaming and Blockbuster and all that kind of thing. La Bamba did the best of all the movies by box office popularity. Now, people can chime in right now if they want to at 312-591-8300. I mean, La Bamba's been decided. He's already got the DVD, the Blu-ray out to watch it later on.
Right.
I agree with you, Kenzie, though, that I love Selena. Anything for Salinas.
Not anything for Kenzie.
No, not really.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. If you haven't texted BEAN to 312-591-8300, you should do that right now. Your chance to get to Boston Calling Music Festival and Riot Fest. Very easy. Got about 35 minutes left before a new word will happen later in the day with Lauren at 11 and 2, and with Kevin, who's filling in for Brian Phillips, at 5 o'clock. So all that coming up today. Now, it is certainly the conversation of the week that I'm sure you've had with somebody, somehow. 100 men versus a gorilla, who would win? Took over the internet, took over your timeline. There's even animation on it now. I'm really falling into the animation, the AI versions of what could happen.
I feel like I've fallen into a movie franchise. This feels like it's only the beginning. This conversation's really taken off in the last 5 days.
And it's not a new debate as when back in the days of Twitter, when it was all just kind of fun on Twitter.
Oh boy!
I remember people saying, I could kick a bear's ass, like just one-on-one.
That you could?
Well, that people would say that I could do that. I disagreed, but some people were just taking one-on-one, a man versus a bear. Could I kick a bear's ass?
Okay, I take the bear in that fight.
Okay,
No kidding.
I didn't say me. I said just people, one-on-one.
Just in general, I don't think one man can defeat one, maybe a very sick bear.
A sick old bear? A gray-haired bear?
It's weird to think about bears having a cold.
Or just bears that aren't into it. Like they're just kind of laying around going, the bear's laying there and you kick it or something. It's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Stop it.
But Kenzie, your first thoughts on this discussion that's, again, been trending massively this whole week on 100 men versus a gorilla.
I think 100 men could win. It just has to be a group effort. You can't go one at a time or you'll lose.
One at a time, sure. Or is the theory that one at a time could tire out the gorilla? Do gorillas get tired?
I think everyone has to jump on it because the girl's like we'll get 100 people off of it at once. Everyone jumps on the girl at the same time, like a dog pile.
What is the first part of the gorilla that should be attacked?
I mean, I don't think we should be tagging a gorilla. I don't love this.
No one's
gorilla
gonna judge you on that.
Is being attacked.
Yeah.
No, I think you just have to lay on it. I think everyone has to lay on it. 100
Really?
people.
Kenzie, you are so petite and tiny and skinny and beautiful. You think it's going to work if you lay on a gorilla? That gorilla's going to launch you
With
into orbit.
99 more people?
I don't know. I would not
If
start.
I laid on a gorilla, it wouldn't go great. But if 99 more people laid with me, it's power in numbers. It's just like technically we could all take over the world and dismantle the government. But if everybody did it.
What kind of meetings are you having on the
I'm just
weekends?
saying.
Fidel Castro over here. Good
People
Lord.
forget. No, but people forget. Like you're more powerful as like a unit.
Yeah.
But nobody can ever get on the same page.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's always a debate. Who's first? They're the tip of the sword. The first person to jump on the gorilla. Like 100, obviously, like you said, could jump on the gorilla. But somebody's got to be first. And that person's going to get mangled. I mean, the gorilla, you're pissing off that gorilla. Now, the ones that come on it, then everybody's laying on that guy. And boy, do I hate being in the bottom of a dog pile.
How many times have you been in the bottom of a dog pile?
Too many to discuss.
If I had a
Too many.
nickel.
Yes. For every time I was in a dog pile.
Now, is there anybody you nominate to go first to be the tip of the sword? If 99 other people are going to follow, and let's go with Kenzie's scenario momentarily and sit on it, there's got to be a first guy number 1 out of 100. Is there anybody that you want to be that first guy?
It's got to be Shaq.
Why does it gotta be Shaq?
Because he's huge, and so at least the gorilla's going like, God, what's this guy? And then he's on top of him, and then people that come afterward, he's still probably stunned about Shaq, and Shaq is pretty heavy too. And then whoever comes afterward, it's kind of like, oh, there's another guy.
I think you're cheating right now. I don't think you get to pick your 100. It's just 100. It's like a jury of your peers. You don't get to pick a superhero 100.
Shaq is one of my peers.
No, he's not.
I tweet him all the time.
I think it's random selection, 100 people. So you have to think of your average American. You can't you can pick superheroes. You can't be like, Jason Momoa, Shaq, The Rock. They may be able to beat up a gorilla. I don't even know. They could go 1 for 1. That's like a different level of person. You don't get to create a super team of 100 people.
Well, that's how I thought this was going because I got a whole squad. I got Liam Neeson coming at the end because he's got a particular set of skills. I know he can take out the gorilla. I will find you and I will kill you.
He's more of a verbal threat guy.
Case, what do you think on this? What's your take on
Well,
it?
I'm trying to figure out now what the average American looks like. I Googled that.
Looks like or what, like weighs or?
Just the whole, what is, hey, you know
I'm
what?
going to type in, I'm going to Google what the average American weighs. What do you think that's going to be as I look at this up?
Disturbing. It's going to be like 160 probably.
I was going to say 250.
Well, I hope it's...
Why is 160 disturbing? I feel like that's not heavy.
Because I'm way heavier than that.
Oh. The average weight for U.S. adults is 181 pounds.
Really?
Now, that's for male and female together. Men's average is 200 and women's average is 162.
The average weight of a man is 200?
Yeah.
That's good. I like it.
Good. All right.
And then I think the average weight of a gorilla is 500 pounds. Let me double it back on that.
Wait, so the gorilla only weighs 500, and then when you got 100 men, you've got...
That's what I'm saying. Dog pile, you win.
20,000 pounds on him.
And I guess that it's important to contextualize 100 people in one space is a lot of people. Our lounge at Q101, we've had some of the biggest bands in the world playing that lounge. That lounge doesn't fit 100 people, and that room gets tight when it's filled.
Yeah.
100 people is a lot of people. We just have to be smart if we're going to take down the gorilla about what way we're going after it.
So here's the deal. Okay, a silverback gorilla typically weighs between 300 and 485 pounds. Some particularly large males can be about 500 pounds, okay? So you're telling me 100 people who are all weighing in over 100 pounds.
200 or 200 pounds, yeah. 20,
That's what I mean.
20,000 pounds onto 500, but...
That is what I'm seeing.
But gorillas can flip over cars.
Okay, great. This isn't what is this, a strongman competition?
Well, it is.
Who can flip a car over?
It's exactly what it is.
That kind of is.
I mean, if there's like, well, how much does a car weigh, an average car?
Oh, my God.
Because I want to see how many men would be the weight of a car, and then the gorilla flips all them over.
Can you just, okay.
You're
The
starting
average-
on White
you're
Sox
doing,
math
This
again.
is what you do. You always add steps to the math. The average weight of a car is 4,100 pounds.
Okay, so 100 men is like 4 cars for the gorilla.
Right.
So he could start flipping them over, and before you know it, the gorilla wins. You see what I'm
If
saying?
everyone jumps at the same time, it's going to be very confusing to him, especially if we all wear bells.
Wait, why are we wearing bells?
Because animals, loud noises really scare animals, and it distracts them of what direction to look in if we all had a bell on. So they're not going to be ready to fight if we're all wearing a bell and we all jump at the same time.
Can you imagine 100 bells ringing and the gorilla sitting there going like, what's going on today?
Seems unnecessary.
is this?
I'm just at the zoo chilling, and everybody wants to fight this poor gorilla. I stand with the gorilla, I would like to say, but this is my point on how the people could win.
All right.
Now, 312 checked in. They said a gorilla can bench press 4,000 pounds.
Good Lord.
First of all, I don't know how you know that. That feels like it might be fake news.
Well, yeah.
Did you see one at a prison yard? Like, what do you mean? Where did you see this gorilla?
Was the gorilla at the NFL Combine?
With a towel over his shoulder?
What's going on? I don't know. You know what? Send me the YouTube video of can we look up
smoking a cigarette?
Wait. I'm going to see if it's available on the 20th anniversary of YouTube in the past couple of weeks of a gorilla bench pressing. Gorilla
bench pressing.
Bench press. You know what? It already finishes spelling it.
So somebody's clearly Googling this. What you got?
Well, so far it's AI animated.
Okay, I don't want that. I would need a grainy 240p video of a gorilla bench pressing.
Yeah, it's not. These are all fake. So, sir, with all due respect.
How dare you?
Well, you can chime in on this at 312-591-8300 because everybody is at this point the whole week. 100 men versus a gorilla. What do you think can do it? Now, it's very funny. John Mulaney on his Netflix show approached the subject a couple nights ago, and this is what he said on the conversation of 100 men versus a gorilla.
As many of you know, there's currently a lot of online discourse about who would win in a fight between 100 men and a gorilla. It's prompted a debate in our writers' room about whether 3 14-year-old boys could beat up me, John Mulaney. So, on our final episode of the season, May 28th, the theme will be Teen Night. We will be talking about many teen issues, and I, John Mulaney, will square off in a very real fight against 3 14-year-old boys. Is this legal? So far, we think so. It's not assault, we know that, and we're vetting every step of it. I've been led to believe that if it's for TV, it's a lawful practice. Now, to be clear, I want to be clear, this isn't going to be like a fun, funny fight. Like, it's going to be me fighting these children and them fighting me as hard as we can. So, if you or anyone you know has access to a 14-year-old boy who is willing to fight me, John Mulaney, and might need to get something out of his system, please have their parent or guardian, not the minor, contact us at the email below. I want to fight John Mulaney at Gmail. Netflix legal wants me to say U.S. citizens only, but no, I'm opening this up to the entire world. Good luck, boys. Good luck, me. Good luck, Netflix legal.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Weezer playing at Riot Fest on Saturday nights with Jack White. That's the Saturday night show. Not this Saturday night. Riot Fest coming up in September 19th, 20th, 21st. And if you just text BEAN right now, BEAN, to 312-591-8300, you have a chance at a VIP trip in Q101 Fest to the Boston Calling Music Festival, and you qualify with Riot Fest tickets. You can pick that night to go. You get one-day tickets for Riot Fest. If you've already done it, don't do it again. It goes till 9 o'clock. So if you have a few minutes, you need to get it in. Don't worry about it. You have some time till 9 o'clock to text BEAN. We're discussing the gorilla versus 100 men conversation that took over, the wonderful internet this week. And a lot of fun comments. 312 checked in. Everyone's got a plan till a gorilla rips your arm off. And Nate Bargatze, one of our favorite comics here on the show, had a great bit about fighting orangutans in the 80s because that was legal back then to do that at fairs and things.
And encouraged, mind you.
Yeah.
Another one PETA had to shut down. This was, again, like the 1980s. I was alive. You could fight an orangutan at a fair. They would have an orangutan just sitting in a boxing ring, and guys would pay to fight it. And I say guys because I just can't imagine one woman ever fought this orangutan. I think you could put an orangutan in a room with 1,000 women, and when they walked out, they're like, did anybody fight it? Like, it never crossed our mind to fight it. Put 3 men in that room. 2 of those men will fight that orangutan. The other one would have started it going, I think y'all should fight that orangutan. So guys get in there, And they're like, all right, we'll go fight this orangutan. And the orangutan would just knock everybody out because we don't have the internet to look up how strong's an orangutan. It's all word of mouth back then. You had to meet a guy to just fought an orangutan. And you're like, but the arms are skinny. He's like, I know. That's what made me get in there as well.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.